And tally-ho there, champs, and welcome to the show. Now, in 2016, we have seen a lot of great smartphones. Now, this is my pick of the best smartphone of 2016. I'm going to give you my top three. Now, I'm a little bit sad because the top three phones for the best smartphone of the year are the Apple iPhone 7 Plus, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, and the Google Pixel XL. Now, I'm a little bit sad that there isn't actually any other phones in this top three. It seems like a pretty easy and simple thing to do. Oh, let's just get the three biggest phones out there and say that they're in the top three. That's not how I done this. Every other phone I considered to be in the top three fell short in some way or another. You could say apologies to the LG V20, is comparable to these three phones. And if you haven't checked out my review on the iPhone 7 Plus, I'll leave a link in the description. Also, I've reviewed the Google Pixel XL as well. Now, there are a lot of great phones that are like half the price of these top three I have here. And just for example, the OnePlus 3 is a great phone, but one, you can't get it in Australia. Two, its battery life is mediocre. And three, its camera is not as good as these phones. And there are a lot of phones like that they just fall short. Either the camera's not as good, or the screen's not as good, or there's just something that stops them from being in the top three smartphones of the year. So anyway, let's crack on and see which is the best smartphone. Now, I have a criteria of 10 different points, and they are design and build quality, performance, features, software and software experience, display, camera, battery life, durability, support and value. Now, that's the key 10 areas where I rank phones. In this comparison here, I'm going to just drop the value because this is the best smartphone you can buy in 2016. It's not the best bang for buck or best value, so I'm just dropping that. So there's 9 key areas. Now, as you'll see, I've chosen all the big phones, the Pixel XL, the GS7 Edge and the iPhone 7 Plus. And that's because they've got the better battery life and they've got other features that the smaller phones don't have in some cases. So in terms of design, well, this is going to be personal preference. The Pixel XL, I do like it. I love that paint dip look. Its build quality is not quite as good as the iPhone or Samsung. Just little areas like if you actually look at a photo close, you'll see that there are different size gaps where the screen meets the bezel. This is not the case with the Samsung or the iPhone. The Samsung and the iPhone are a bit better build quality. What looks better is personal preference, but if you ask me, I think the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is the best looking phone because it just looks a little bit different. It looks a bit more glitzier, a bit more glamorous. It hasn't gone over to that realm of being vulgar or too brash or blingy, but it definitely looks the more expensive out of all of them. I don't like that home button. They've got to get rid of that. But this is going to come down to personal preference. I feel that handle in the S7 Edge is more comfortable than any of the other phones. It's actually thicker than the iPhone 7 Plus, but it feels thinner because it's got thinner edges and it just feels better in the hand and it feels more premium than the other phones in my opinion. But this will come down to your personal preference. Features, that's easy. The most features are on the GS7 Edge. It has wireless charging, it has expandable storage, it's waterproof. It just has the most features, so that's an easy one. Second in the feature department, probably the iPhone 7 Plus because it has that extra camera and it's waterproof. And third would be probably the Pixel because it doesn't really have that many extra features there. Software and software experience, that's where this falls short. TouchWiz is still laggy sometimes. I don't like it. It's ugly. It's just Samsung. Just use stock Android and just put your own apps on it or something. Just really, you ruin the experience of this phone with your software. This is definitely last in the software experience. And in terms of software experience with the Pixel and the iPhone 7 Plus, well, that's going to be personal preference again. I do like stock Android over iOS, but that's going to come down to your personal preference. Both of those are very good and they're definitely better than the Samsung. So I'll just say it's equal between the Pixel and the iPhone 7 Plus in terms of software. Now, when it comes to display, this is no competition. Samsung has the best display. It is just brighter. The colors are more richer. The clarity's better, more contrast. Whatever you do, if you're thinking about getting other phones, do not compare the screen to the GS7 because it has the best screen, no doubt. Now, are the colors natural? They're a bit oversaturated and over contrasty and but it's a phone. You're not doing any color work on it. It definitely has the best display. This is a 2K screen, so it is a sharper display than the iPhone 7, but the iPhone 7 has very good calibration. So the best display is the Samsung, the second best display is Pixel XL, and the third best display is the iPhone. So when it comes to cameras, they're all brilliant cameras and they're the best three in the class. It's very hard to choose. I'll just tell you some of the standout points. The Pixel has the best image stabilization in terms of video. The iPhone 7 Plus has the dual camera system, so you get 2 focal lengths, and the Samsung's just a great all-rounder. It's great in low light, it has great video and stabilization, and it's really hard to choose because they all excel at different areas. So I just have to say it's a draw. Whichever phone you get, you're going to have a great camera. I'll just leave it at that. Battery life, well, when I reviewed the iPhone 7 Plus, I said that had the best battery life, and then I started using the Pixel XL, and then I said, well, that's got the best battery life, and now I started using the GS7, and this one does have the best battery life, 100%. I took it off the charger at night. I used it a little bit, not much, went to bed, woke up in the morning, it was 90 something percent the battery, used it all day, had 5+ hours screen time, and then at night it still had 20 something percent battery life. Best battery life is on this. This is the Exynos version. On the Snapdragon version of the Samsung, you're not going to get the battery life that you get with the Exynos. That's one thing to consider, and I think in the US you only have the choice of the Snapdragon, but definitely this has the best battery life. I'll give the Pixel second place in the battery life, and third would be the iPhone. Durability, I guess it's hard to say. This is glass front and back, so you're probably more likely to crack the Samsung, but it has been drop tested and it's been proven to be very durable. It's got Gorilla Glass 4. This has Gorilla Glass 4. I do think this glass panel here would be very easy to break on the Pixel. The iPhone, it is durable too, but it has an all aluminium back, so it probably makes it a bit more durable, the iPhone 7 Plus, but I don't think there'll be a great deal between all of them. They're all pretty durable smartphones. Now, support. Now, this is a big one for me because all of them are around the same price. You probably can get a deal on the Samsung because it's 3/4 of the way into its life, whereas the Pixel and the iPhone 7 have just been released, so they are full price. But generally, their recommended retail price is around the same, give or take. So when you're paying so much for a phone, you really want support. Now, I believe you get Pixel insurance and proper support for the Pixel in America, meaning you can be covered for accidental damage. You can walk into a store and replace your Pixel, no question asked. That's not the case here in Australia. We're treated like second-class citizens in Australia. We don't have the option of Pixel insurance, so if we break the screen, we're going to have to send it off somewhere, and who knows how long it will be until we get it back, and we'll have to pay the full price of the screen replacement there, and if we drop it twice, well, we're not covered there. So it's very poor support in Australia with the Pixel. You can't just walk into a store and replace it or get the screen replaced in a store on the day. So I've got to give this last for support. It does have built-in support, 24/7 support into the phone, and I've used that for chat. And that's where I found out that yes, there is no insurance here in Australia. I asked him, what do I do if I crack my screen? Yeah, I've got to send it off to them, and who knows, it's just a mess. The support is bad, and when you pay $1,419 for this Australian, I want some support and I want the option of insurance because it's such an expensive device. If I drop it, which can happen very easily, I want to know that I can just go and get the phone changed over straight away. And that's the case with the Samsung and the iPhone. The iPhone support is still better because if I go overseas and drop this phone, I'm screwed. Samsung support will not work overseas. And in actual fact, if you have an overseas Samsung, you cannot get Samsung support here in Australia. The only way Samsung support works in Australia is you can go buy one of these Samsungs from the Samsung store. They'll give you support, but only for the Australian model and only in this country. Whereas the iPhone, support works anywhere, anytime. You can drop it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, doesn't matter. Alright, the first 2 times I think cost you $99 each time, and then I think it's cost $150 thereafter. But you can just walk into a store, any Apple store, and just get it replaced on the spot or get it repaired on the spot. No questions asked. It's the best support, bar none. And I guess if you're spending that much money, given that the phones are very equal, all things are considered, it is a big selling point to me. So performance, all of these phones perform well. I think the Exynos does perform better than the Snapdragon. It loads games quicker, and you've definitely seen in speed tests that the iPhone loads games quicker than the Snapdragon as well. This is octa-core versus quad-core, and I think the iPhone's a quad-core as well, both 4 gigs of RAM. But in real-world performance, you're not going to notice any difference. They're all fast. Yes, the Samsung has a bit of lag because it uses that TouchWiz, but that's nothing to do with the performance of the phone. And it only has a lag when I think it's handing over from the 4 low-powered cores onto the 4 high-powered cores. I think that's where the lag kicks in there, when it's just changing over. But once that lag is gone, it doesn't lag anymore. I would say that the iPhone 7 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy 7 Edge do perform better than the Pixel, just because they load apps a bit faster. And in real world scenarios, you're going to notice, a couple of seconds here and there when you open a game or something like that. Otherwise, there's no difference really. All of them are super fast, super fluid, except for that little bit of lag with the TouchWiz in the Samsung. So I'm just going to call it equal. In real world, whichever one you get, they're good, very fast, very fluid, and you'll be happy with the performance. So which one did I choose as my best phone in 2016? And I guess I'm in the market for a phone. I've really weighed up everything about these. I'm going to have to rule out the Pixel just for that poor support. If this had proper support, this would be my choice, the Pixel. If the Samsung had the Pixel software, this would be my choice. But when all things are considered, I can't believe I'm saying this, I don't really like iPhone's operating system, and I'm not a big fan of iPhone. I'm an Android guy. I love rooting my phones. I don't do it so much anymore. I just want my phone to work now. But, my last phone was a OnePlus One, and if that wasn't playing up, I would still be using that. And I've installed custom ROMs. I love undervolting. I love trying to squeeze extra battery life out of phones, underclocking the CPUs and so on. I love messing with my phone with Android, but I don't do it anymore. So the reality is, I just want a phone that works, and I want the best support. And in that case, if I was going to spend all this money, I would have to get the iPhone because of that support they give you, where I can just buy AppleCare, I can just drop the phone, smash it, doesn't matter if I'm overseas, whatever, just walk into an Apple store and get it replaced there on the spot, no problems. And the phone just works. It does what I need it to do. All of them have all day battery life. The performance is all the same. The cameras are all the same. As much as I hate to say it, I think the iPhone 7 is the best phone because of all those factors. Now, if this had the support that you get in the US, I would change my winner to the Pixel. And again, if this had the software that this had, because of all the extra features, it has the wireless charging and all that, expandable storage, this would be the winner. But as far as it stands here today in Australia, all things considered, with my 10 points minus the value, because I'm not worried about the value, so with my 9 points there, I have to give it to the iPhone. I hate saying it, I have to. It just makes more sense. Now, if you're in America, you get the insurance for the Pixel, so this is the king. The Pixel is the king. And if Samsung ever get their act together and actually put some decent software on their phones, well, this is the king. What I can say is you can't go wrong with either phone. So anyway, guys, hope I helped you out there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up there. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. I'd really like to thank you for watching. Your guys' support is really appreciated. You guys are awesome. Got lots more tech content coming soon. And until next time, guys, tally ho.